What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. Sitting all the way across the city from me this week and every week, he's King of all VR Kings. He's Fisher King. It's Jeremy King.
Wow, nice. And speaking of fish, soon you'll probably have some sardines and whatnot in your apartment because your new adopted son is on his way from Kittenville. Daughter. It's close enough.
Yep.
From Kittenville. And sitting over there waiting for the new kitten to arrive is Brian Paul in the sardine-free apartment at the moment.
This is like the last time we'll ever film a show without a tornado.
That's true.
Right? Next time we're doing this, there'll be a cat somewhere around here.
Doing something and you won't know.
Knocking shit off shelves and just driving me crazy, I'm sure.
Yep.
And every week on Why We Love PlayStation VR, we dip into the PSVR archive. We pull out a game at random. We dust the blow off it. We look into it. We play the crap out of it. We see if it's been given any love by developers, any updates, any DLC. And then we let you know, the loyal game cats, if it's worth your time. That being said, Jeremy, what game did we decide to play this week?
A Fisherman's Tale.
A Fisherman's Tale by Inner Space VR, released on January 22nd, 2019 for $14.99. Just a heads up, it's been on sale like 8 times since launch, and
wow.
Yeah, each time roughly around $9 or so. I think $9 was the lowest it's been without PlayStation Plus required. And it's only gotten one patch. Some stability issues were taken care of, so it was essentially the same game as the game we got at launch.
Uh-huh.
All right, man, set me up. Take me through it. What is A Fisherman's Tale all about? What kind of game is it?
At its core, it's definitely an escape room type of a puzzle-solving game, without a doubt.
That's at its core. That's at its core.
Yeah.
And you're a little fisherman puppet named Bob. You got like little strings on your hands. You can kind of see like just like the beginnings of the strings, and very cartoony aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything seems to be going okay. You're living in a little fishing cabin, or maybe the base of a lighthouse, I guess.
Base of a lighthouse, yeah.
Right? And then one day shit hits the fan because you wake up and your window is boarded shut.
Mm-hmm.
You get the boards off the window, and what happens?
You see outside into a larger room version of the one you are now in as a puppet, as a model. It's hard to explain.
It's very hard to explain. That's why I'm putting it on you.
Yeah, it's almost like the movie Inception. If they had the ability to see themselves in their other dream, in a sense, and so on and so forth.
So let's try to frame this for people who don't go down the Jeremy King rabbit hole as easily as I do. In your little, I want to call it an apartment. I mean, I guess it's an apartment.
Yeah, lighthouse apartment.
The face of the lighthouse it's a house, whatever. In your house, you got like a sink over here and like some bookshelves over here, but right in the middle, is a model of the room that you're in, like a scale model. And so you take the top off
lighthouse,
and you look into it, and so you're seeing the exact same room. Now, as it turns out, once you get the boards off, you open up the window and you see a bigger version of yourself. You look into the model and you see a smaller version of yourself, and all three of you are doing the exact same thing when you move your hands. Yeah. And the weirdest part about this is that you can interact with the other worlds. You can pass things to yourself via just holding it up, putting it down into the model. I mean, it's mind
fucking crazy.
It's mind melting at first. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
Right? Yeah, especially when they try to get you to realize the objects you interact, and that's the brilliance of the puzzle part of the thing with this, is that for an example, that little crab dude in the beginning that needs a few items, you're like, oh, he's a small crab, what am I going to do? And there's a huge hat, I'm not going to say where, but he wants the hat. Right. And it's slowly you realize, well, wait a minute, if I hand it to my model self in the model and drop it in there, you get the reverse thing falling in from the ceiling from the giant version of you that's also doing the same thing. It's crazy.
Right, that might be the coolest feeling in the game, is when you grab something in your world, you reach into the little tiny scale, and then you take it from yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
That I mean, it's like it breaks my brain every single time. I'm like,
right.
yeah, and
Or
I,
vice versa, grabbing items out of the model to use in your model too.
right.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. So
Yeah,
a lot of times it plays with scale. It says, well, you need this item, but the one you need probably isn't in your reality.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that is such a cool premise because I don't think I've ever played a puzzle game that uses any mechanic even remotely close to that.
Not even. Yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome for it's very creative for a puzzle game to be able to do that kind of a to break that would it be breaking the fourth wall in that sense, I guess? Because you're almost acknowledging that you're a game in a game, you know, and you're able to like interact with one another. Yeah, I don't know. It's
I feel like
pretty
there's like
interesting.
a fifth wall here we're breaking. It's
I
like
know
the
it's
walls
something,
of
right?
reality or something. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we should probably get into the mechanics a little bit as far as how we move
Yep.
around this place. There's not a lot of moving around. The environments are really small, right? There's only a couple rooms total in
Yep.
the entire game. So it does use teleportation and click
Hmm.
turning exclusively.
Yeah.
Did that bother you in this?
No, that actually didn't bother me in this. The one mechanic that did bother me, including so movements are easy, you know, because again, you don't need too much movement. The click churning to a degree was annoying, but did it bother me? No.
Right.
It's just because that fine tuning with the puzzle, when you're trying to look into your puzzle, you know, to get certain things, you got to get yourself aligned in just the right kind of a way to be able
Right.
to do it. The one portion that I thought that they thought when they were developing this game that might be a good thing to help was when you hit I forget what buttons it was on each move controller
It's
because
one of the
it's
top
with
face
the move.
buttons.
Yeah,
One of
your
the top buttons.
hands jut out ahead of you,
Go
right?
go
Like
gadget arms.
yeah, yeah. Except it makes it increasingly difficult to grab items. You offshoot what you're trying to grab big time. So in real life, you're like this, holding your hands, or trying to like do this, or just don't even use that mechanic and just lean in to get close and grab what you can.
Right.
And I get why they put it in there, probably figuring like almost like tweezers reaching into your puzzle, you know, the smaller model that you're building to like grab items you might need and just retract them back. But it didn't really pan out. It didn't work too well.
I found it incredibly convenient and incredibly inconvenient at the exact same time. Like
Yeah.
they certainly like at the beginning of the game, they're trying to get you used to all these mechanics, and they're like, "Oh, hey, throw a log into the fire." Right,
Yeah.
and so I'm sitting in my chair. I don't even have to bend down. I can play this whole game sitting down, and oh, my arm just shot out. It's like I can now open the furnace,
Yeah. Yeah.
grab a piece of wood, shove it in there, close the thing, push the button, got my hand back, everything's fine. But then, yeah, one of the, I totally agree. I feel like there maybe should have been a middle option because it's like your hand's either
Yes.
here or here, and I need
Yeah.
it somewhere around here.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe if you click it like twice, it goes from here to here to here,
Yeah.
to
It
little
extends
option.
out. It's
Right.
like picking your nose. You want the rim. You don't want the brain. You know what I mean? It's like
Well,
give us the option.
and the other thing about it is that the physics engine in this game is pretty good, but the collision
Yes.
detection
Too good.
not so good. The collision detection
Yes.
sucks. I so many times I'm holding an item and it ends up in a wall and it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh shit, where'd it go? It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's
Where'd
stuck
it
in that
go?
wall over there, and I have to
Yep.
wait for it to appear back in the world when the game realizes
Yeah.
it's nowhere near me anymore.
And that
Um,
can take a while and can be scary. It can reach to the point where you're like, do I need to reset the game? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Then all of a sudden, puffs of smoke and it's back.
And there was one time where I found a battery and I needed to take the battery and put it in the thing, and then
Yeah.
later on I needed to take it from the thing and put it in the other thing. And
Yeah.
between the second thing and the third thing, it got stuck in a wall
Yeah.
and disappeared. So I went back to the second thing and waited for a minute. I was like, nothing happened. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
crap, it better be in the first thing. And I went all the way back downstairs, found the first thing, there it was. I was like, sweet. It did reappear, just not where I thought it would reappear.
Yeah. There was something that happened with me. I don't remember where or what, but it disappeared and it took quite a long time because other times it'll reappear rather quickly. And then there was those times where it's like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
is this game broken? Because, you know, when we do these, I try to go in with zero information, you know, unless it's a title I definitely have heard of, but
Right.
I won't research because I want to learn while I'm playing it. So I didn't know if this game was known for having issues where it would be buggy or whatnot. That's part of the excitement, trying to figure out what the fuck. So no, luckily everything popped back. They definitely thought ahead, you know, with their puzzle pieces and
Yeah.
shit.
In the just to kind of like bring it all together, between the collision detection problems and the length of the go-go gadget arms,
Yeah.
so often I would be scared, man. Like I'd have an item in my hand that just took me a couple minutes to get.
Yeah.
You remember the crane area where you had to use the
Oh
crane?
yeah.
Yeah, that took some time. And so when I
Yeah.
finally had the piece in my hand, I would hold it so close to me because then I'm like click turning around these really tight environments, and I'm scared because I could go down this spiral staircase and there's bookshelves to my right, and I'm keeping this thing so close to me because I'm scared that if it hits the wall,
Bing.
it's
Yeah.
gone. Fuck, you know,
Gone.
right?
Yeah.
So that element, those things combining, really ruined some of the fun for me because I felt like I was fighting the game to progress sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't major, but it was still like it
No.
was there, and I was very conscious of it. And you
Yes.
shouldn't have to be that conscious of it.
No, no, because it definitely had, like, again, with the hit detection, it's like if you tap something, bringing that item back to you, it's not only going to fall out of your hand, but it's going to become one of those good old pink rubber balls that just dunk, 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 you know what I mean? And then it lands somewhere where you're like, where did it go?
Yeah, no, for real, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so what about the story in this thing? Because I think besides the interesting mechanic of the three U's in this world, the 3
hmm
different sizes, I think this game sells itself on the story. Where'd you land
I,
on that?
I dug the story. It definitely kept me going. I wanted to know why the father was such a dick. You know
Right.
what I mean? And like what the son did wrong. What's going on? Why did he resort to puzzles? I mean, models. You know, there was a bunch of things that I wanted to find out the answer. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say if I did find out the answer or not, but the story was interesting. You know, and they dangled the carrot each little room you were in, progressing till you reach the top, because the overall object of the game
Yeah.
is to light the lighthouse because there's a storm and there could be a boat out there that needs to get guidance,
Right.
and then you keep getting flashes of you on a boat as you progress, and so it unfolds a little bit of, as you're trying to light the light, it unfolds a little bit of your story too as you go,
Yeah.
working in conjunction.
I'm gonna put the spoiler tag on the title of this video so we can just talk about
Oh,
this thing freely. I don't want to
all right,
I don't want to limit our conversation to just the first parts of this.
okay.
So it was kind of I felt like it was kind of crazy where you finally end up in a boat
hmm
and there you are at the helm and you're like I'm steering this thing. I'm like
Yeah,
here's a game with teleportation and click turning and now it's like I'm controlling a boat and it's
yeah.
not a big part of the game or anything like that, but it's there and I'm like man this I don't know it just made me go I think I'm starting to wish I had full locomotion in this game.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you get to ride in a fish's mouth,
did you get to
which
do
is
that too?
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
you do get to do that.
in I mean, and there's not a lot of companion characters in this game. And there's like
The
um,
little crabby dude,
the crab and
the,
the fish, and is that
the
it?
fish,
Oh, and then the dad, like that's basically
the
haunting you.
dad. Yeah, the painting, if you want to call the painting a companion, it's more your dad just like badgering you for sucking at life,
Yeah,
you know?
and it's just enough though. It's just enough to like keep you from standing there in silence and being like, okay,
Yeah.
here I am, just trying to figure out this puzzle.
hmm What about
Speaking,
the voice acting? What'd you think of the voice acting?
it was good. It was good. I
Yeah.
thought I think they went a little on the Disney side of things.
Yeah,
And
they
they
did.
tried to make everything cute and cuddly and ha ha, ha, until the dad at least.
Like like the crab from Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
Forget his name.
Sebastian, right?
Sebastian. It was like narrated by Sebastian, basically,
It
with
was
a slight speech impediment.
yeah,
There's just a slight one.
right. But it was well done. It was really well
Yeah,
done, and I think that
I enjoyed it.
yeah, I think all the sound was really well done.
hmm
But I mean, unless you get stuck on the puzzles in this game, which
Yeah.
I mean, did you?
No, I mean, in the beginning, that hat one
The hat,
was the
yeah,
one, because I was getting to learn the game and handing things off and vice versa. So it was like, well, now I have this big hat. What do I do? Then it was like, oh, wait a minute,
right,
grab the small hat,
right,
spoiler. But yeah,
yeah,
anyways, so I mean, other than that, once you get that down, you kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? The game. It's either I'm going to drop something small into the big one, and now it's going to be bigger for the size I need, or I'm going to grab it from the small one because then it'll already be the size I need. Once you
right.
got that down, it was pretty easy.
Yeah, I actually got stuck on the hat one for a completely different reason.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, you'd move the anchor, right? You'd
Yep.
reached in and moved the anchor, which was obstructing the door, And then I just completely forgot about it. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's the anchor that I moved away from the door, not thinking that it was like, useful later on as a puzzle piece. I was like, damn it, that I walked around looking for it. I was putting everything on the crab. I was like taking every pan off the
Yeah.
pot
Oh,
and
I
pan,
know.
trying
Me
to stick it
too.
on his head. Nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Everything. I tried everything. You're right. And then I saw the other latch and I was like, wait a minute.
right. It's so
I
obvious,
wonder.
so
Yeah. And
obvious
then that
too.
was it. The puzzle, I mean, the game from there on, it's like I understood it, you know?
I understood it pretty much the entire time. Didn't really run into any more obstacles. So the entire thing took me about 90 minutes total, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with you.
I got to say, probably a little less than an hour it took me. I want to say about 45 to 50
You're
minutes
kidding me.
around there. After that puzzle, it was just like ding, 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 ding,
Okay.
puzzle, puzzle.
All right. Well, then if we're gonna talk about this, then what did you think of the final puzzle? Because the final puzzle in the lighthouse, when you get the match and you're trying to light the lanterns and stuff.
Yeah, you know what? It was like a week ago I did that already. It seems so long ago. It did not present a challenge from what I recall, though,
I
at
hated
all.
this puzzle. I don't know if I was just so confused by it, or what the deal was, because again, there's three of you,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you're trying to light this match, but the box where you've got to strike the match on is in
Mm-hmm.
your reality, but the
Yeah,
match is in a different reality. And
yeah.
I feel like when I finally got the match in my own hands, that I got it there like in the wrong way. Like
Okay,
I didn't
yeah,
feel like I solved the puzzle. I feel like I broke the game, and then I suddenly took the match, and I'm just gonna go around and light my candles now.
yeah.
I hate this. I absolutely hated this as a final level and a final puzzle. I didn't feel like it worked very well, or for
Yeah.
me. And maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I just didn't get it. And if I did break the game to make it work, well then I obviously did go about it the right way. And on top of that, the game shouldn't have let me break it. It's like,
Yeah, really.
so
The one I,
I feel like I'm missing something there.
the one I didn't like the most. I don't like puzzles that involve cranes and like
Okay.
lifting up and hooking things. So did it give me an issue? No, I don't like those type of puzzles. They're almost in like every game. They were in the Lost Bear even, with that goddamn bus and the magnet.
Yeah.
That whole situation just bugs me for puzzles. They had it in a creative way, with the big and the small and your model boat and making a real boat. I got all that, but it's still that was the one puzzle that just more annoyed me. I didn't even mind floating in the fish's mouth up there to do the whole ladder situation and floating back, because usually that tedious back and forth fetch type of stuff is
Yeah.
pretty annoying. But they handled that even in a well way. There was nothing in this game that I felt was spread too much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was just the right amount of everything, and then they backed off. Even the voice acting, like they would repeat certain things, if you were like stuck on something.
Yeah.
And that, I think it was the crab in the beginning, repeated a few things that
Yeah.
was kind of annoying. Like, he said something, I can't remember what, but it was like, oh man, this game's going to bug the shit out of me if he keeps doing that.
Yeah.
But no, it didn't. After that, it was fine.
Right. And if we had solved the puzzle faster, we wouldn't have heard him say it that many times.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now, since we're not really, I mean, if we want to like spoil, or I
Yeah.
don't know if we want to specifically go after,
Spoil whatever.
what did you find of the conclusion? Were you satisfied with the conclusion to this story?
So, okay. So, I mean, the conclusion is you find yourself on the boat, right? You're in the storm. The wave comes crashing over you, and then the next thing you know, you wake up as not the puppet,
Mm-hmm.
but as the real fisherman, as the real Bob. You look at your hands, and they're real man hands and not puppet hands. There's no strings
Yeah.
attached. And
Yeah.
then you walk outside, and it's not cartoon lighthouse anymore. It's really realistically textured water,
Yeah.
grass, trees, and you're like, "Oh, I'm a real boy."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I got to be honest, I'm like, I don't know exactly what they wanted me to take away from that.
I don't either, because that was the end. I mean, like you opened it up, you're like, oh yeah, I'm on a lighthouse. I'm a lighthouse guy. What about my dad? What about capsizing and drowning?
Yeah.
Was that all just a dream? Why do I build models? I'm a lighthouse keeper. I am pretty important, Dad. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't cut it as a fisherman, apparently. I don't know. I mean, maybe the dad. I wish they I wish there was something tragic there that I was, and I feel like there is something tragic behind it all that I'm unaware of.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were supposed to be the dad at the end, or what,
Yes.
or what was happening there, or yeah, like why were we trying to light the lighthouse tower light, and then suddenly now we're on a boat, or why were we on the boat? I don't know. Like it just, I don't know if
Clear
they,
skies too. You know, it was pretty sunny out at the end. He was
yeah,
just like asleep.
right, right. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know if they were just trying to keep it abstract, or if I just kind of like missed the boat entirely on the story arc. Um,
I
so
don't think so. Because if so, we're both sitting here waiting for that boat. You know, because
yeah,
I don't know. And I was intrigued. I wanted to know why the dad was so upset with me. Why did I resort to building models? Why was my focus on that instead of something else? But it did seem like I was building models and I was manning a lighthouse. And at some point, I must have been a fisherman. I don't know. I mean, like the windows were boarded up. He's basically saying he's been in here long enough. So was he secluding himself? I don't understand.
I don't know either. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I guess that kind of plays into what we thought of the game as a whole. So maybe
Hmm.
it's time to rate this.
Yeah, maybe it
All
is.
right, what's our rating scale?
One is you absolutely need this title. Don't wait for the sale because you want to pay extra because it's worth every goddamn penny plus some. Supersize it. Buy it again. You'll love it. Two is, wait for the sale. You know, it's a good title, but it might not be worth the full price of admission. Just, scale back a little bit. Scale, model. And then three, it's just don't bother. Again, we'll buy Brian a pizza because you can get him a pizza for the price of this game, and you'll both be happier than if you bought the game and played it yourself alone.
Probably for the price of a DiGiorno. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, Brian DiGiorno.
I'm
Yeah.
doing my best to get sponsored by DiGiorno. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that shouldn't be too hard.
No, really, because I mean, shit, DiGiorno. Well, right now they must be booming.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
sure.
everybody's home. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
So,
delivery.
Brian,
Yeah.
what do you rate this sucker?
Oh, this is a tough call because I really did. When you get an escape room style game, I know we overuse the term all the time, but when you get an escape room style game that actually introduces a new mechanic, and you're like, oh, this is doing something different than every other escape room game I've played. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool, you know. But then it's got the click turning and the teleportation, which I'm like, I don't know, like that's it's a little of this and it's a little of that. Meaning, like it didn't piss me off, but I kind of wished it wasn't there. I was like,
Mm,
I'm sort of in the middle with that one.
yeah.
There were collectible pearls, which were
Yes.
kind of give you a reason to go back and replay and just go, okay, well, there's a certain number of collectible pearls in each level, and
Hmm.
and it's got a platinum trophy. So there's actually for a 45 to 90 minute game, you run through it a couple times, you get your platinum trophy, and suddenly it's worth you $15.
Hmm.
That being said, I don't know, man. Like again, I absolutely despised the last puzzle, and
Yeah.
and again, I don't know why that was. If it was me or if it was the game, the story did not come together for me. I think it was a great setup, and that mechanic that they introduced was amazing. But I guess at the same time, the game didn't last long enough for them to really take advantage of it, or really experiment with it a whole lot. I felt like they could have done even more with this. Like you introduced this awesome idea, and then
Hmm.
like 45 minutes it's over. I was like, well, let this thing evolve and keep bringing me more ideas based on this three dude mechanic.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, man. I wouldn't be thrilled if I paid $15 for this. Especially if you treat it as kind of like a one and done. You're like, okay, I played the story and it's over. I would say this is, I think when it goes on sale for $8 or $9, that's a pretty decent price for it. And you'll get to do something in VR that you've probably never done before. So it's a solid two. I didn't love it. I know a lot of people loved this game, but I certainly didn't hate it. I think it's absolutely worth playing for the right price. So it's a two.
Nice.
What about you?
Sweet. So, like you, I thought the premise was awesome in terms of how you resolve these puzzles and how you interact with each other. I'd never done anything like that before. Played a million puzzle games and escape room games, and none of them had that type of mechanic.
Right.
So immediately right there, I was like, wow, that's really neat. I like the aesthetic. It looked good. It fit everything. The voice acting was good. It set up a world pretty quickly. that I was able to be immersed in, you know. So I certainly felt like I was in the model in a game. They did that well. The sound was great. The controls weren't solid. I mean, there were some hiccups. You know, you did have to be very like operation with the tweezers. You had to be very careful because if you touched the side of something, boom, that object was out of your hands like it was made out of melted butter. Um, you know, I felt that it was the right length. I didn't think that the title went on too long, but I did feel they needed to go on a little bit longer to flesh out that story. It's like they had a story that they needed to fit into these few puzzle rooms, and they really didn't flesh it out. There's so much that I felt left, you know, was on the cutting room floor in terms of that story. I want to know about the dad. I want to know why you make models, you know what I mean? And weren't quite the fisherman. You had models everywhere. You know, that boat, I mean, the lighthouse, and they were detailed shit, you know?
Yeah.
They were incredible. I just wish I knew more of that. If it was just simply a dream, if that's what they were trying to get at, you woke up from a weird, hazy dream at the end. But, you know, with the windows boarded up, made me feel like you were secluding yourself from outside and denying your, I don't know, role in the job. I don't know what you were trying to do. But I thought everything worked great besides a few different points. The $15 didn't bother me too much, to be honest, because it was under an hour. I don't feel like I got ripped off. I enjoyed the experience. I was sold on the premise. I was sold on the Inception-ish concept to the game and the puzzle solving. I mean, I can't give this a 1 because it did not answer all of my questions. It definitely left me hanging. You just open the door and the end written there in the horizon for the most part, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I am with you where I think it is a solid 2. I mean, I don't think people would be disappointed if they like escape room games, even at the price point for the length of time. I've paid more for less, you know. I'm definitely a strong 2 with this one. I liked it. I enjoyed the time, and yet I was disappointed with the outcome. I definitely did not feel satisfied in the mental investment I put into the story. You know, it definitely didn't feed my brain.
Yeah, you were disappointed with the ending, and I was disappointed with the ending plus even going back to that final entire room.
Last puzzle.
Yeah, so like my disappointment set in even before yours did. So I think you might have gotten a little more enjoyment out of this than I did.
Yeah.
But not a bad game though, and definitely one to check out when it's on sale. I think that's going to do it. I think we got to wrap this thing up. We got a lot of stuff going on around here.
Yeah.
Make sure in the comments below you let us know what you thought of A Fisherman's Tale. Man, I can't wait. There's going to be people out there that think we're crazy because when this first came out, some of the reviews were so over the top glowing. They were
really?
like, this is one of the greatest things I've ever played in my life. So I can't wait to see some of those comments below. You let us know how wrong we are.
Yeah.
Also, let us know what other games you want us to play. The list is long; it keeps getting longer. I'm really hoping we've got a good one lined up for next week, but it depends how much time you've had to practice.
Aha.
For another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR, my name is Brian Paul,
And I'm Jeremy King.
and we'll see you
Next week.
Next week. I don't know.